guys, it's Caleb from Rokblokz. Today in the shop we have a 2019 Dodge Ram, or just Ram 2500. We're going to show you how to install our new V2 mud flaps for this. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We'll get a little breakdown of what you're going to get in your kit, and then we'll move on to installing the front first. Alright, so the tools you'll need for this install is a drill with a 1/4 inch bit, an 8mm socket or wrench, a Phillips head screwdriver, and something to pull or cut the inserts out. Alright, so here we have the front flap laid out with the hardware that you're going to get per side. You're going to get some extra spacers for this inner mounting hole so that you can set the offset from the fender liner. You'll get a 1.5 inch screw with a metal clip, and then you're going to get 5 washers. Now we're at the front of the vehicle. We're going to look inside the front fender, and we're going to remove these 4 OEM screws, and then we'll reuse them by placing a washer on them and mounting the flap reusing these OEM screws. So we're going to take our washers and just put them on each of the screws. Now go ahead, lift the flap up into position. If you're having any issues with this inner portion here, we've etched a cut line that you can clearance that if needed. If not, it should be just fine, and we'll go ahead and start mounting it. We'll just get it started by hand. Alright, with those 4 in place, we're going to go ahead and set our adjustment and make sure that it's square and looks good on the truck. And we'll go ahead and tighten those all down, and then we're going to drill the inner hole here and mount that. Now with those 4 OEM screws back in, holding our flap in place, we're going to take our drill and we're going to go inside here. We have our wheel turned the opposite way to gain clearance. We'll hold this right here, and we're going to drill through the liner, just in the center of that hole. Alright, with that hole drilled, we'll take our 1.5 inch screw and our washer, and then we'll take our spacers, break them apart, use as many as you'd like to space this portion. If you need more clearance for a little bit larger tire, you can have it screwed directly against the liner. But if you want to keep the flap nice and flush, you can use the spacers. I believe we're going to go ahead and just use 2 right now. We'll put screw through, put our spacer on, go through the hole that we just drilled, and then on the back side, we're going to use this clip as kind of like a nut on the inside of the liner there. With that in place, you can take your Phillips head screwdriver, tighten that securely, and that is your install for the front. You can go ahead and move on to the rear. Alright guys, here's the breakdown on the rear flap. What you're going to get is the flap for that side. You're going to get 3 of the 1.25 inch washers. You're going to get 1 larger 2-inch washer, an 1.5 inch screw, and a large metal clip that we're going to use to secure the mud flap. So let's go ahead and get started. Now that we're at the rear of the vehicle, we're going to go ahead and remove the 3 OEM screws from here, here, and here. Then we're going to want to remove the insert here. That insert is only present on models that have this fender trim, or like the OEM flare. If you don't have the OEM flare, you'll want to go ahead and get on the inside of your fender liner here and just match drill that same hole. You'll be able to use the inner plastic piece as a template. So just match drill it with like a 1/4 inch drill bit, and then you're good to go. So now let's go ahead and remove these screws. Then we're going to take those screws and place the 1.25 inch washers on them. We'll lift this flap into position. And we're going to start with this lower mount hole right here and just screw them in by hand a few turns just to support the flap. All right, with those in place, we'll take our 1.5 inch screw with the larger washer and put that through that inner hole. And we'll take our clip, place that on the back side because we're going to use it like a nut, and screw into it. Go ahead, get those all started by hand. Then we'll make our adjustments in and out and making sure that it's square and looks good on the truck. Then we'll go ahead and secure all those down. With those all secured, you're good to go. Your mud flap is installed. You can now repeat those same steps on the other side, and that's how you install your Rokblokz mud flaps.